Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday, y'all. We are live. I'm going to go ahead and take out that ticker on the bottom because we're getting started. Yes. Hi, hello, hello. Welcome to episode 7 of Overtures. It's crazy to think we're already up to 7, but we're here and I'm very happy about it. Oh, peep my little wall Christmas tree I have in the background. I taped these lights up to the wall as a Christmas tree. It looks much better from the front than the side, but that's okay. Today, I'm going to be starting by sharing a little video I got for you. But first, I have to do that on my end. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to click through a few things first, and then you'll get to see a little bit of my guest today. My guests, I should say. Hold on just a moment. Got to bring her onto the screen. And here we go. I probably should have, made it full screen beforehand, but that's okay. My guests today are actors and musicians based in New York City, both having recently graduated from Wagner College as a part of the theater performance program. They didn't give me more of a bio than that, but these two are incredibly talented, funny, and constantly have something cooking up, sometimes in very chaotic ways, but hey, that makes it fun. So here's a warm welcome to two good friends of mine, Matthew and John, the Drinkwater Brothers.
Hi!
Hello, hello. It's so fun to have two people on today.
We're so happy to be here.
I know.
I love the Price is Right music in the background. I really do.
And listen, Laura, I think you made a good decision to play it on a smaller screen because that's how we look our best.
Right, exactly.
On smaller
Screen.
screen.
Really pinched down.
How are you both doing?
We're so good.
I mean, as good as you could be.
Now that we're here with you.
Now that we're here with Laura,
obviously.
we're going to say we're so good.
But
Thank
no,
you,
but
guys.
in general,
As good as you probably could be at this
Yeah.
moment. I mean, with everything happening.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And now I know you both, but for those who may not know you as well, would you mind introducing yourselves so that we know
Sure. Introduce ourselves. You want to introduce me and then I'll introduce you?
This is Matthew. He's 6 foot tall. What do you mean?
I'll tell you how you introduce
Okay.
someone. Have you ever met someone with such a stature? Such a way.
This is unscripted.
Bam! You're talking. Welcome to the stage, John. What's his face?
That's me. And then, believe me, if you want to know, if it can only get better from there, they say, then guess what? Get no better with this guy. This is Matthew. And it's a big day for Matthew, Laura. I don't know if you knew this.
I don't know if you know this.
Matthew just found out today that he is adopted. So this was very exciting news for him.
Very big day.
I was not
exciting, but it was jarring to find out.
Understandably so. Understandably so.
In fact, I just found out just now as he said that.
You know, sometimes that's how the cookie crumbles. We got some hellos from the chat right now. So, hello, Kimmy. And then, hello, Fiverr. Nice.
Five, welcome.
Hello. Welcome. I'll try and pop in and check in with the chat as people jump on and say hi, ask questions, things like that. I always start with how do we know each other? And we know each other from Wagner, as most people do. I was going to make a joke about how you two know each other, but I feel like we've already gotten to that point, you know?
Well, I feel like right. I feel like ever since the adoption,
Exactly.
all just
That's
been-
when we met.
Exactly. I don't know. Was it until like sophomore or junior year that we all became friends? Because I know freshman year we didn't see each other all that much.
Well, our paths didn't really cross.
Well,
in a
freshman year, it's
real
all about your
way.
LC.
Right.
I mean,
It's all about your
Exactly.
one group
and what
group.
classes you're in, and it's
Right.
5 people you know.
I would,
yeah.
but I feel like by sophomore year we were friends. I feel
Yeah.
like, but then we started to work,
And then we started to work
junior year,
together,
we started
and
to
then
work
it
together
was-
more, and then it was like we were really close.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was like tap and theater history that really
Mhm.
cemented the friendship.
Cemented it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because I was the soundboard op for John for Or. And then Matt was the Arthur Doolittle to my Eliza and Pygmalion.
Right.
But other than that, I think the only other production that we like worked on all together was Scrooge.
Right. There you go. People
And
tell-
that was certainly, people have been
Bring up-
calling that a production.
people bring up Scrooge all the time. Like when I was at Wagner, I was seeing Into the Woods, and people that we went to school with were like, "Remember when we did that stupid thing?" I was like, "Well, it was stupid." But
For those watching who may not know what that was, it was a grand time where Matt and John decided to put together essentially an entire full-fledged production of the movie Scrooge, except that no one was memorized. We all rehearsed that day. Like we did rehearsals, but
Well, this was our favorite Christmas movie.
right,
And it's a musical, and it's got beautiful music in it.
right.
absolutely.
And we said we should put this on the stage. So we were talking to someone at the Student Run Productions,
He
and
was
they were
very
like, "You should
clapping.
put this on. You
We
should
were-
just do it."
I don't think they were like, "You should put this on." I think
Or I think we were like, "Can we
wanna
put this on?" And she was like, "Sure."
"No," and we were like, "Come on."
And then we said,
And you're
"Come
like,
on,
"Oh,
sure."
what if? Yeah,
And
I
then
think like
but there was no script anywhere for this. There
Yeah,
was
we-
no
we-
music, sheet music.
We hand
We hand
transcribed
transcribed.
from watching the film.
wait, I didn't
Every
realize you
word,
guys
every
were
single
over-
word.
like breath that they take, we were like,
We
it's
didn't
breath.
cut anything out.
No.
We
Full
hand
thing.
transcribed this whole thing. There's no sheet music for music, so we couldn't get someone to like play it on the piano. So I took it into a computer program I had and
Oh my God.
painstakingly erased only the vocal wavelengths of each song's recording from the original.
I
movie.
feel like there was also 30 or 40 of us in the show, which
There were
made
so
it
many
even
people.
more hilarious.
There
Well,
were
it was
so many
funny
people.
because it's like there's like a ton of parts in it. It's
Yeah.
the Christmas Carol, but we were like, it was just a long. That was also a long process of just like asking like, oh, we should have so and so in this, and then reaching out and asking them, and then we asked them, and then
the
they
day
had
of the
so-and-so.
show, we kind of got everyone together quickly, and we were like, "All right, this is your part.
Right.
Here you go." And then our grandma came. She brought hot chocolate and cookies for everyone, and
I remember.
we never timed it though. That was the other
No.
thing. So it went
No.
well into the night, well past midnight.
Right.
But we
But
were
that
all
was
having a great
when the clock struck
It was
midnight and
great.
Scrooge finally realized what he had
It's
done.
Christmas.
Wow.
Wow.
It was a grand
What
old
a time to
time.
be alive.
That was fun.
Oh
That
my
was so
gosh.
funny.
How did you two first get started in theater? Did one of you drag the other in? Was it a mutual thing to do together?
I actually think, well, there was a kind of thing where like one of us was wanting to do it and one of us didn't. Our mom knew of this like kids theater company from like around where she grew up. Like I guess she remembered it, over the years she had seen it. And we were on vacation somewhere. I vividly remember this. We were like 8 years old and she was like, I got you guys an audition for this show, this kids show. And you're going to audition for it. We didn't know, like, at that point, like, the extent of our musical theater knowledge was, like, listening to Phantom of the Opera in the car. Like, that was it.
Right.
And Oliver Twist.
Right. We watched Oliver on
Classic.
the DVD. Yeah. So, I think it was John was like, oh, that's great. Like, wow, I can't wait for that. And I was like, I don't want to do that.
Well, Matthew always wanted to do it, but he didn't. He was always playing hard to get.
Right.
It was never he never wanted to be the one that said, I want to do this.
Right.
So I kind of said, okay, let's do it.
Because I would say, no, I don't want to do this. And then I look
And
at
we
John
didn't. We
give him a
were
little
8 years old?
We were 8.
We were
Or
8.
probably like
And
7
we
at
were
that time.
auditioning. We auditioned for this show called Honk Jr.
Classic.
And we It's
A
the story
classic,
of the
an
ugly
absolute
duckling,
classic.
absolute classic. And we didn't know how to audition. So as we were getting there, we had to come up with a song to sing for this audition. And so we did. Do you remember what we did? We did a song from Oliver as a duet for our audition.
Cons yourself
At home, and we just did it
with British accents.
with British accents, and we did it a cappella, and we did it in unison, no harmonies or anything.
Right.
And
but
we got
back
the parts.
on it. It was adorable. Like it was probably
That's
they were
so
probably like,
fun.
oh my god, it's so cute. Like these two little twins.
Oh my god.
Singing.
Yeah, but then we took to it, and then we always just whenever the next show was, we just did it.
Yeah, and I think that plays into the Instagram question that your mom sent in, which was, when did you first sing together on a stage? Would it?
I think she knows the answer to that,
probably knows the
unless
answer.
she's starting to slip a little bit,
I think the first
and she really wants to know.
the first documented time that we sung together, there's like an old VHS tape somewhere of us singing
At like a harvest festival.
Living la vida loca.
That was our favorite song,
We were
and
like
it was at a
three-
harvest festival or
I think
something.
we were like 3 or 4.
And again,
Oh,
our
And
mom
we had
kind of
these
put us
cute
up
little
there.
like winter jackets on. We're just like,
I wonder where that footage is.
it's very cute.
Yeah,
I
and
feel
then
like that's definitely footage worth digging up.
Yeah. We're gonna have to find.
well, there's footage on our YouTube of we did in kindergarten. We did the talent show for like our school is one school. We went to school with 45 people in our graduating class. So from kindergarten through 12th grade, it's all one building and it's all one school.
Wow.
So this was like the big talent show. And we did James Brown's I Feel Good.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a whole dance routine and we sang the whole thing. And we had all kinds of different, like the little outfits with the fur coats, with the cape. And it was always, we were so upset because the guy announcing us said, this is John and Matthew, and they're going to be doing a dance to the song I Feel Good. But we were singing.
We were like, no. We were singing.
No.
But it's almost a compliment that he thought that we were sounded exactly like James Brown in kindergarten. Right. So, I mean, really,
you really can't get better than that.
Really exciting,
Oh my gosh. So what was like the overture or light bulb moment of like, okay, this is actually what I want to do? And it can be a different answer for like the both of you. So
I'm interested to know your answer.
I think the first time that I ever felt, I always was very confident that I like had a knack for this. Like I always felt like I was able to like listen to, like I could listen to a recording and like sing like that, like I could sound like that recording. Like I had a knack for like hearing and like being able to copy like what something sounded like as much as I can. So I always knew that was like my natural kind of like cheeky talent. And then I think it wasn't until like, then growing up and doing kids theater and stuff, I always loved it. I think the first time I ever was like this, I want to like do this. Like I want to go to college for this. It was 10th grade and we were doing a production of Guys and Dolls. And I got to play Nicely Johnson. I was playing Nicely. And it was just like, I felt really good in the song was like in the perfect spot in my voice. And I was just like, every night that I got to do it, I was just like, oh, like, it makes me sound like a jerk, but I would just be like, oh, I'm so good at this. Like, which is like, you kind of have to have, like, you have to like, think you're good at it. Otherwise
you're feeling confident, but also having fun. Like,
right. I didn't think that, but now looking back on it, like that was my feeling. It was like, oh, like, wow, like I'm pretty good at this. Like I could do this. That was the first time that I was like, this is like, I could go further with this.
Yeah. How about you, John?
I think it was much earlier for me. I think it was very like, even from doing that first show, because I remember I got like a named role and I was like Drake the Duck or whatever. And I just remember being like, this is great. All these people are gonna take a shower and pay for tickets and come sit and just watch me. This is fantastic. Like, this is great.
We don't know if they took a shower.
We don't know, but
this is a funny story.
It's implied
about John.
Oh,
this like paints the whole picture of like that whole thing between like me not wanting to do it, him wanting to do it. So he opened the show he had like the first singing line of the opening number.
Well, I sang the first song.
Right, and
It opened with a spotlight
and there's
on
a
me.
famous story that our parents tell. They were sitting in the back, watching that rehearsal, and the director told them,
we were tiny. We were only
you're
8.
gonna open the show with this line, And she started then like telling other people what to do on the stage, and John's kind of standing at the front of the stage, and he looks out and says, "Somebody take a star and put it on my forehead."
It was a joke because I was opening the show.
I
wasn't just thinking, "Wow, look at me," and
Right.
you all are
But part
rest
of
of you are
it is
peasants.
you had a
I thought, "Wow, I'm opening number. I'm, come on."
I think an 8-year-old having confidence is a good thing. No one's like, "Oh, that kid's such a jerk."
Well, if I said that now, it would get a different reaction.
That's pretty fair.
Unless they knew the reference.
But the business is so hard. It's such a like tear you down kind of business. You always kind of have to have like that inner monologue of like, take a star and put it on my forehead. Like you have to be confident enough that when a million people tell you no, like you'll still keep going. Like that's
absolutely. It's like your own self mantra.
Right.
It can be a mantra for people.
I don't use that as my mantra now.
What's your mantra now?
My mantra is
winner, winner, chicken dinner.
No, that's your mantra.
Right. Don't steal it.
My mantra would be, they could put this on my tombstone. Here lies John Drinkwater. And why not?
Right. That's a good
That's
yes answer in a moment. I kind of
it's
right. It's a little dark. It's a little darker than my mantra. My mantra was a little more uplifting, I think. I think the chat would agree.
There's a contrast to you guys. But no, I think it's super interesting that both of you guys not only stuck with theater, but as performers. Because very easily, like you two could have gotten involved in theater in different ways and been like, oh, tech is really interesting, and like gone over here.
Yeah.
But not only are you guys on stage as actors, but you guys are also musicians. You play instruments. Do you consider yourselves actors first or musicians? Are your answers different?
That's been kind of changed, recently. I mean,
especially I think in like the climate now, like the world,
how the world is and how everything's changed. Like I think the answer would have been actors originally, but now I think musicians kind of edged it out just because that's what's been happening.
We've been so actively
right.
I think part of why we're drawn, it's part of it partially is a curse, to be drawn to being on the stage and in front of people and doing it, because it's very stressful. I mean, it is like it
is stressful.
But that's I think part of it.
I don't consider it a curse though. Wanting to,
it is in a certain way to be so drawn to continuing and going and trudging through, and
right, because it's hard.
Because it's a tough thing, but it's almost like a thing, at least for me, that I just have to do, and if I don't do it, then I don't know what to do. Well, it's like you said,
Laura, and just as well as anyone, because you've known us and the different kind of crazy, chaotic projects we work on. Like we do love like all aspects of it. Like there were a lot of times in school where I was like, do I want to like go down like a directing path, like? Because I loved like the big picture of everything, and sometimes as an actor, you just feel like a piece of meat. It's just kind of
writing. We do, we write music,
writing, we've done a lot of like film editing and stuff. Like
that gives you more of that like creative control of being like, I'm creating this, but I'm also putting it together too.
Right. Well, we took improv at the Upright Citizens Brigade for a few years. And once we had like the craziest fortune of our teacher had come up with Sashir Zamata. Do you know who she is?
That name
is Saturday Night Live.
And like Nicole Byer. Do you know who she is?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was her, Nicole Byer, and some other woman that were a trio improv team, and they came up through UCB. And they auditioned their team in the improv world. Like there's like teams, and you audition your team to the company for the chance to become like one of the company's
house teams. Yeah.
Right.
Kind of thing. And they auditioned their team, and they were like, we were always like, they were like, so okay, so this is what happened. Our teacher was like, and this was right after she got on SNL, which was very cool. He was like, they've offered to do for our class of 10 people, like a 2-hour improv / talk back. Well, they'll do improv for us and we could just talk to them. And it was so cool. Like we just got to sit there and like chat with Nicole Byer and
oh my gosh.
So one of the things that they were talking about is how they auditioned this team, audition, and they felt better than all these other teams. Like they got bigger laughs from the audience and just and they never got to do it. And their biggest advice was like, if in this business, if people are telling you, like, if they're not letting you in to their thing, then do your own thing. Like make your own thing. And that was like the biggest thing of like knowing that like I want to work on all aspects of everything so I can do my own thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're creating that work for yourself.
Right.
And it's so interesting because I sometimes see you working on the same projects, but also like in the past, I've seen you work on different projects. Do you guys lean towards different types of projects theatrically, like style versus genre, like drama versus comedy or anything like that? Or do you kind of go the same way?
That's a great question.
I don't know that we lean differently. I think it all depends. I mean, people ask us.
You're both great at both. Let me clarify.
Well, and she has to say that because she's the host.
Right.
But I think it's a sort of it goes along the lines with us loving all the different aspects of things. I think we love all the different styles of things. I mean, it's the same in theater, you know, right now, like we just finished American Idiot, which is all of Green Day's music. So that's like super contemporary and super rock and roll. And then now we're doing our next show we're doing is The Boys from Syracuse, which is as golden age as you can get. So it's
standard as possible.
And that's how it is with our music. I mean, all of our music, you know, we love everything from old timey kind of blues to new pop stuff.
And I think toward answering your question, like I don't think we have different like strengths. I would say like I think of John as more of like has more of a strength in like the kind of physical comedy like like he like that kind of style is not my strong suit, but like I feel like there are things that I do that John maybe not his strong suit.
Yeah,
maybe
like
he doesn't feel that way.
He makes a great sandwich.
Right.
Ham sandwich.
I make a great chocolate
BLT, chocolate cake. He does it all.
Right. He does it all.
When I think of Matthew, I think of more of a you know, like how you saw 9.
Yeah.
Like that kind of role, like a big bellowing kind of role.
Right.
You know. And so that's
he could never handle a role like that.
No.
Yeah,
and
no, that totally makes sense.
No, if you use a roll,
of course he can.
You know, right. Some people use.
He could never make the kind of sandwich that I could make.
Yeah, no, of course. And you guys had mentioned American Idiot, and I wanted to go through some pictures that you had sent me of different shows and stuff you've been working on. So gonna show that real quick. So this is a shot from American Idiot.
This was very cool. We never had. There's John. That's me in the front.
We're both making really good faces.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
If your picture is being taken on stage and you don't look like a maniac, you're not doing it right.
No, 100% agreed. 100%.
If you have like a good look on your face on the stage, then you're not doing it right.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But we never had, like, as growing up, like we never had like an emo phase. Which was very cool to like get to like have that in the show. Like it was like cool to like dive into that.
I mean, it was very cool to do this show in general because this was the first time we'd been on stage in 2 years. You know,
right? This was very recent too. So
and it was the first time doing a real show, like a book show,
in a long time,
probably college or just after college. So
yeah.
It was very cool.
So it was very fun, and the company that we worked with was like amazing. Like everybody was great. The theater itself is great. It's a new well, it's an old theater, but they just built a new theater
Right.
for themselves. They're in a new space, and it was like a beautiful. It was like great. All the like technologically and everything. It was like amazing. So it was like really cool to be able to dive right back in the deep end. It felt like,
Absolutely.
and at first it was kind of like stumbling, but then it's sort of like riding a bike, and then you just do it. And
you pick it back up again, and you're like, oh,
it's
okay.
like you never left. Yeah.
Yeah. And the next few are all from what looks like concerts of sorts. If you want to give me like very quick debrief, where at, what's the gig, etc.
Sure.
So we got this shot here.
This is I think this is
We
one
need
of
to
the
open
last
our eyes
things-
more on stage.
I know. So this is
We're
one of
always
the
taking
last.
pictures like
this
this.
is one of the last shows we did. This is a very cool show that we get to do at Birdland Jazz Club in the city, and it's called Susie Mosher's Lineup. And Susie Mosher,
I think it's the lineup with Susie Mosher. You're thinking of Jim Caruso's cast part.
Okay.
So the title, isn't that funny?
The lineup with Susie Mosher.
Isn't it funny how you
and it's
swap it?
every Tuesday night. It's very cool. It's like she was the original something in Hairspray.
Penny's mom. Yeah.
In Hairspray on Broadway.
And that's how she knows Michelle Pot.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. So she, you do stuff in the city, and one thing leads to another, and we become friends with her, and we get to do her show sometimes.
Yeah.
Which is very cool because there's the last show we were in. I think during this show, what was his name? What's his name? Kevin.
Now I'm thinking
The guy. He was the original Horton in Seussical.
Yes. No, I forget his last name.
I forget his last name, but he was in the show, and it was like so
fun.
cool.
But it's stuff like she always has like, because her show is like she'll like cast people in each week for like the whole year.
Well, a lot of it because of the music stuff, like a lot of the, and we kind of always like, especially in college, they were very separate, like our kind of music life and theater life. But shows like this, like, have made it like such a cool blend of like the theater world, kind of like letting us
pick and choose what we want. Yeah,
And
get to play with
different
both
kind of shows like this, right? So so there's a cool,
so that's
their
this
own band and stuff.
That's so fun.
Really fun, yeah.
Then we got this one here.
This is from when right after we graduated from school, we had the tremendous honor of being selected to be part of the Town Hall Broadway Rising Stars concert at Town Hall.
So there were like 15 of us,
right?
And it was like everyone from all over the country,
from every school,
and it was really cool. We
both got into it, which was crazy.
Yeah.
We were like, "Whoa, that's insane."
And but yeah, it was just like amazing. The Town Hall is like such a old, like beautiful, big, giant theater, and so it was like so cool to be like in there.
I think that song we were probably doing like
this
Agony.
was Agony from Into the Woods.
Oh, that's a perfect song.
We did this. We did this song, and we did
For Good from
Wicked. Yeah.
Oh, how fun! I love the combination of those two.
Yeah.
Both the love and the conflict.
Mm-hmm. So this is, I think that's from one of the first times.
This is probably You're Nothing Without Me from Cast Party.
Right. So this is another cool thing that if anyone theater people are watching.
Well, this is how we got started at Birdland. This is like how we got connected.
This is from a show called Jim Caruso's Cast Party, or is it Cast Party with Jim Caruso?
No, this is Jim Caruso.
So
get it right, or he'll sue.
It's basically an open mic night at Birdland, which is crazy that they even do that because Birdland is such a famous club.
And it's every Monday night.
It's every Monday night.
And it's always packed out.
Well, it used to be always packed out.
Well, now, yeah.
It's a little less packed out now because they don't have
nothing's
all
packed
the
out
tables
anymore.
Right. But it's like the most magical. They have an incredible 3-piece band.
That do it every week,
and the piano player / like kind of co-host of the show. He was Liza Minnelli's music director for like 2 decades or something.
Oh my god!
And one of the biggest geniuses. Like,
they know everybody. Like Ariana Grande started at Cast Party. Charlie Puth
started at
Miranda
Cast Party.
Singh
When they were
started
like
there.
Oh my god!
And so it's like so interesting. And then like they obviously the host and the hosts like they know everybody, so they have and
Broadway
people
crazy.
every night and
Birdland's
movie
such
stars
a
every night.
Place like we were doing cast party one night, and we got up and we did our song. We did probably like, I think it was like Rocky Raccoon, the Beatles song, and someone comes up to our table after and was like, "Hey, that was great, guys. That was really awesome." And we were like, "Oh, thank you." He was like, "Yeah, the person that I'm sitting with is Ringo Starr's manager, and he really loved it. Like, he really appreciated it." We were like, "Why'd we have to do this Beatles song when Ringo Starr's manager was there?"
At least you knew after and not before.
Right.
Well,
exactly.
this picture was taken on a day that we were there, and we were going to do something, probably something pop rock
I
or
was probably
something.
gonna do a pop song.
And the stage manager says to us, David Zippel's here, who wrote the show City of Angels.
Right.
Oh.
Among other things.
Among other things,
Hercules and
But City of Angels, there's a song that we do in that because it's about a guy who's like, he's a writer, and then
Right.
he
writing,
writes
like,
this
this
character
alter
who's
ego.
like this Mr. Man, like who's what he wishes he is.
was. And we
And
always
so
said,
we
"Oh,
always
that'd be
do it
fun
as
to
like a
do that."
duet.
Right.
Because we're twins, so it's like an alter ego thing. And we didn't have the sheet music, and we hadn't done the song since college,
Right.
and this was like after. And so we had his name is Rick, the stage manager, was like, "I'll print it for you, like send me the sheet music." So we printed it right there during the show.
Gosh.
And then we like went on. We had to tell our friend Jim, who's the
Well,
host.
it's almost like,
We were like,
so
"Can you put
cast
us on
party,
later? We
and
need to-"
anyone can go and do it. Like, you just go.
That's so
yeah,
cool.
we tell people all
put
the
yourself
time.
on the list, and then you do it. And which leads to sometimes there are like people that are just like maniacs that do it, but sometimes they're just like incredible. It's crazy. So anyway, we're some of the maniacs, but it's like an audition. Like when you show up to an audition with like your book and you go up to the
Right.
piano player and you're like, "Oh, it goes like this," kind of thing. That's what happens. But then you do a full song with a full
Then you-
band.
Yeah, and then you do it with a 3-piece band. So
Yeah, it's so.
But they're so good.
Well,
Like, it's
so then in
it's
this
so cool.
one, it was like doing an audition for the writer of the show,
as well
and
as
you
the
also
band,
don't
and you
know
didn't
how it
rehearse
goes. You never
Right.
rehearsed it.
right,
But
exactly.
We did it. It was great, and then we got to meet him after, and he loved it.
Right.
So it was like it
It
was
was
so
cool.
cool. So that's
so
what makes it
special.
really cool.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Well, that was
Yeah.
fun going through some of those. But apart from performing like other people's music and things like that, you two write your own music. What's that
Yes.
process been like? What inspired you guys to start writing your own music?
It actually came from
It's kind of
Birdland too.
It's kind of a crazy story.
The first time we were ever at cast party, we did our song, and someone came up to our table after and put a
Put his
card
card
on the
down.
table and said, "I'm a record producer. Call me."
And we were like sophomores in college at this point, so we were like,
"Whoa!"
and this was the first time we were at cast party, so we were just like,
right.
this is,
so
like,
the long
crazy.
story short, it was this guy a wonderful, wonderful guy named Glenn Rovin.
award-winning guy,
Right, recorded all
producer,
kinds of incredible
music writer.
things. And he was actually like the youngest music director in Broadway history. He was like 18.
Oh.
He directed a show.
Yeah, he's.
A music director show called something Baby.
I don't know. But he was very well known and very like well renowned. So we were like, oh my god,
this is cool.
and yeah,
And then the long story short of that was like he was like, "I love you guys. I love your sound." And I like he was like, my record label's like a little different. We do
it's
like
like
a lot of theater
classical and
stuff
opera and
classical
theater stuff. And he liked that we did like
But
pop
he
stuff.
was like, I have a lot of friends like in at some big labels, and I want to try to work on like a demo for you guys and send it out.
And so we became like super close with this guy.
Right.
Like we would go.
But he was like, "You have, hi Emily." He was like, "Do you guys have any original stuff? Because I love what you did. I love the cover you did. Do you have any original
So
stuff?"
I said,
And
of
we were like,
course
"Yeah,
we do.
Of course we do."
You know,
And we
we've
did.
got plenty.
We did not.
And
We
so
didn't have
he
a single
said,
song.
"How many do you have?" And we said about
10.
about
I think
10
we were like,
songs.
"We have about 10 songs." We didn't have a single song.
We didn't have.
And he
a
was
single
like,
song.
"All
So
right."
he was like, "All right, come
He
over to
was
my
like,
apartment
How about on Friday? It was probably like Monday,
or Monday or Tuesday.
It was probably Tuesday. He was probably like, "Come over on
Sunday
or something."
or it was like 5 days,
It was
or
like
6
5 or
days
6
later.
days.
Oh my
And
god.
he
Come
was
over
like,
and
"Play
play
me
me
all
the
your
songs.
songs."
And we'll talk. We'll see what we want to do.
And so
It
we
makes
were
me
like,
think of-
Oh, we were
okay.
we were like,
So we wrote our first
We
album.
Thanks for the host, Emily. My notifications are strange and don't like to sit in the right.
Thanks for the host, Emily.
Thank you for the host.
So we then were like, we have to each write one song a night, write a full finished song, one a night for these next 5 days.
Yeah.
And
then
that.
play them for this guy
Right.
at the
And
end of this.
we did.
And we kind of, at that point, we were kind of like, oh, you know, because we liked the songs.
And when we were kids, we
still
were
play.
growing up, we would write little songs and stuff,
but never serious
never
effort
seriously
to do it and record it, you know.
Right.
And so that was that.
So we were kind of forced to write songs at the start.
Should we finish the story? Should we say how the story ends?
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Okay, so he says to us one day,
well, this was over the course of a couple of years. We got to know him. And
we would go talk to him about songs. We'd play him songs.
Go to shows.
Or we'd need sheet music done for a song at
It doesn't end up that he's a creep.
He's not a creep.
Well, that's good. We love that. Love to hear that.
So we would go and he would help us with sheet music, and then we'd go to Birdland and do it that night.
One of the coolest things that we got to do because of him was at the Manhattan Center.
Well, he was like, I'm recording this big giant orchestra, gigantic, 100 musicians in the Manhattan Center, which is this big giant ballroom, and they record orchestra.
And there's also a famous,
and there's a high tech famous recording studio where Jay-Z
recorded in there and stuff.
Everybody's recording studio. And so he was like, we've got this whole place for the day. So at lunchtime,
an hour or two at lunch,
for an hour or two, you guys come in. We'll record you guys your songs for demos in the studio.
We went in there. It was the coolest thing.
It was so cool.
Ever.
We watched this recording. We watched this orchestra play. And it was so cool. And then we went in.
We recorded
these demos. Right. Everyone was super into it.
Wow,
So then he says to us, "This is great. I'm gonna send this out to people and just start to see what the deal is once they're finished, and then we'll send them to you."
Right, when they're mixed.
And then he says, "I just got contracted by Netflix to be the music director for 8, was it 8
Something
or 6? It was Dolly Parton signed on with Netflix to do a bunch of musicals.
Right.
And he was signed on to be the music director of all of those.
Right.
And he was like, I want you guys to come and do the background vocals.
Yeah, he's like, I want to get you guys out
for this, just so you can start meeting people or whatever.
Vocals on it. You'll meet her. You'll meet Netflix people, and it'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
And so
great.
We were like,
you're like, yeah, sure, why not?
We were like, this is great.
We were like, this is it.
So then
we're waiting for these demos.
We're waiting for the demos.
We
reached out to him.
He was like, "Oh yeah, they're sounding great. They're almost done.
Are they almost done? Yeah."
He's like, "My birthday's coming up. I'm gonna be away for my birthday, and then I'll."
So we're like, "Okay,
great."
We're like, he'll get back in touch with us.
After a week goes by, we reached out again. Nothing. Another week goes by. Reached out. Nothing, which was weird. We always wrote back to us.
Then we left it for a week. We were like, he's probably on vacation for his birthday or whatever.
Right.
And he was.
John says to me, Matt, I feel like we're never going to hear from this guy again. I'm on Facebook one day. I'm scrolling through Facebook.
Let me tell this from my point of view.
I'm nervous.
I think it's better from my point of view.
Better from my point of view.
Because Matthew's sitting on the couch. I'm just kind of standing around. And Matthew goes, oh, he's back.
Right.
He's back from his vacation.
John,
he's posted on Facebook.
This is fantastic. Because we were waiting for this info. He was like, oh yeah, I'm talking to Netflix people. And
then we're going to get you about the flights and the schedule and everything.
Right.
And the demos we're waiting for.
We were waiting.
And Matt said he's back. It's fantastic. He came back. He must have been away for his birthday. We're so sorry to inform you
that Glenn Roven has
died.
That's what I was wondering.
He must have sent us that last email of I'm getting the demos almost ready.
We found out later he went in. He got some kind of weird influenza. He was in this South
America old. Yeah, either.
And he got some kind of sickness.
Went into a coma.
Went into a coma for 2 weeks. He literally emailed us the day before he went into this coma.
Oh,
and then
my God.
he passed away. It was so sad.
Yeah, and I felt like I jinxed him because I said we'd never hear from him again.
Right.
But I will say right now, Matthew, I'm feeling like we're going to hear from Lora Marjoram for a long time. And we're going to be hearing only good news.
Right.
Oh my gosh. It's it's such a crazy way of getting involved in creating your own music, but also what a blessing too that
without that we would have never started to even think
Right.
about doing
Right.
music, you know.
Right. It was like
And-
at first it felt it really did feel like that was our shot,
And we
like,
blew it, you know.
and it's
it was,
gone.
or
Like,
it's gone.
not,
you
and
know,
it
we
wasn't
didn't
like
blow
anyone's
it,
fault.
but-
It's sad. Like it was kind of
Yeah.
tragic, but it was like, you know, it really like was hard.
Well, I mean, it wasn't so. That wasn't the instant reaction.
Right,
We
no,
really
right.
had
No,
become
I mean
friends
like
with this
over
guy, so
time.
at
it's like
first, it was like,
the
oh
thought,
my god, this
well,
is
I'm
so
saying
sad.
like
Like, we
over
didn't care
time,
about
like the
us,
thought comes up that's like, oh, was that like the one?
was
shot
that the
we were ever
time
gonna
that you're
have?
gonna get
You
your
know what I mean?
chance?
Like,
Yeah.
Right. At the beginning of the story, I'm not gonna lie, when you guys were like, yeah, we have 10 songs, I immediately thought of like Kristen Wiig and Fred Armisen, where they're like improving on the spot, singing, where they're looking at each other and making up the lyrics together. That's immediately what I thought of.
Yeah.
We do that
That's
sometimes.
that's basically what happened. Like
We
we
tend to
literally
do
had
that.
to just like, yeah, that's a song. Bam, there it is.
Yeah,
Song, done.
Exactly. But
Um,
to give a preview for those who maybe haven't heard your music before, I have your new Christmas song that just
Wow.
dropped. We're gonna listen to a little bit of it because it sounds
Sure.
great. So hold on
Oh,
just a
thanks.
moment. Enjoy a minute or so.
Snow is falling all around. I hear the angels singing, and when the bells start ringing out, it's Christmas. It's Christmas. It's been a while since we've all gathered around. It's been too long, summer. We're with one another now. 'Cause it's Christmas. It's Christmas now.
It's so fun. It's such a fun
Thanks,
song.
Laura.
Yeah, no, I
Like-
love the harmonies you guys play with too.
oh,
They're
thanks.
it just feels like Christmas. Like what can you say, you
That's
know?
what we were
Oh,
like.
thanks.
That was like the intention of it. We were like, let's do like we should have a Christmas song. First of all, like why haven't we done a Christmas song?
Why
So
not?
let's do one. And we were like, it doesn't have to be like the greatest Christmas song of all time.
We wanted it to feel like
But
it fit
does it
within
feel-
the canon of all the other Christmas
Right.
songs, and yet felt different
Right.
in terms
No.
of we're doing it, so it's different.
Right.
For sure. Because like one thing that I notice about it is that like so many like pop stars are like, I have my new Christmas song. And it's like it's trying to be like this big grand thing. But I think the
Right.
fact that you guys scale it down to like just like the jingle bells in the background and stuff, you know,
Mhm.
just like
Those are our
not a
grandma's
little-
jingle bells, by the way.
Right. Right.
We say,
Big
Grandma,
shout out
you've
to
got
Grandma.
jingle bells, and we need them.
Right. We need those bells, Grandma. Get them. We need them out of the attic.
Get them
stat.
jingling.
Right.
I'm jingling.
Right.
But you two go live every week on your Instagram. Yeah. Tell me
Mhm.
about that.
That was something we started when things shut down. And
we had nothing to do.
And we shut down too. We were like, oh, this is so sad.
Well, we
Because
were
we were doing a lot of shows in the city,
But we
Birdman,
were also
54
doing this
Below and
thing.
stuff.
Was it last January? No, the January before.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. We were doing this thing where we started and we said every month we're going to release a new original song for the whole year. And we got 6 months into that. So we did 6 songs. And then we kind of like pandemic happened, all the riots and everything were happening. And we were like, this just doesn't
feel right.
This doesn't feel right to be doing this right now. And we didn't necessarily, because of everything that was
Especially the
happening,
music
we
that
didn't
we were
feel like
planning
doing
to
it.
put out. It just like wasn't.
Yeah.
Wasn't
It
the
just didn't
vibe.
fit the vibe. Yeah.
Right. It was not the vibe.
And so we said, okay, put our foot on this,
Right.
end this,
Not
put it
for-
out of its misery,
No.
and on this project, and then let's put our efforts and take all our songs and do an album of music.
Right. So we did. Right. We did not. Well, on how the Instagram show happened was like we were doing that and everything shut down, and
yeah.
we were like, we didn't want to do any music. We didn't want to do anything. It was so sad. Everyone was so sad.
Right.
And then we're like, if we were so sad right now, other people are so sad
Yeah.
too that they can't go see music.
So then maybe
So
we were like, maybe they do want to see it.
Right,
You know,
maybe they
maybe
do wanna
people
see
do want this
music.
now.
So we were like, so that's when we were like, let's do like a weekly show for a
No, we
couple
didn't even
months.
do a weekly show at first.
We might have done it like once
we
a
did.
month.
We just did it kind of whenever. Like the first couple times we did.
Oh, actually, I think we did it once. We did a little live show,
and we
had
were like
50 people there.
Yeah, and they were people from all over the world.
We were like, oh, all right.
And we
so
were
then
like,
I think we did
it 2 days in a row.
Like, probably like 3 days in a row.
or whatever.
We were
yeah,
so
we just
excited
kept
about it.
doing
Then we
it.
were like, all right.
Then we're like, we could do this.
Run
once
out of
a week.
songs, so we have to. So then we were like, let's do this like once a week. We'll make it like a scheduled thing for a few months until the pandemic.
So then it was once a week, and then now it's gotten a little bit more like we'll do it once a week, and then we do it when like the day that we can do it.
Right.
But still, like we've been doing it this whole time, and we've made so many friends from like all around the world now that come in.
Cool, yeah.
And it's like crazy. We've done like giveaways for our merch. We have like merch, and we've had to like ship it all around the world. Like it's crazy.
We had to send a sweatshirt to Turkey.
Because also people come in and do requests too.
Yeah.
People will do requests all the time.
There's a thing with requests because we play live music, like even like out here, out east, like so much tourist action and so many like wineries and things to play music. And when you get a good request, it's like the greatest thing ever because 90% of requests are like, can you play the song Slam-a-Lama Ding Dong by the Fortnite Knockers? Like, no.
And it's
who
like,
knows that? We don't know that. And they're like, oh no, well, it goes like this. I'm a lama ding dong.
You know it. You've heard it.
You know, you can do it. It's easy. No, that's the worst when they say it's so easy.
It's so easy. You could do it.
Even if you never heard it.
And what we used to do was we used to be like, oh, if they have it on this program, because we all always have our computer for like the chords.
Right.
We're like, if they have it, we'll play it. Some songs they don't have, and then we'll always pretend like they don't have it.
Well, at first we used to say, oh no, we don't. I love when they do Sweet Caroline. Thank you,
Emily's got a point.
We used to say, oh no, we don't know that well enough to do it. People would not take no for an answer. Like that's the thing, especially like drunk people. Like if we're like playing,
well, because we used to be like, we know it, but we don't really know it.
They'd be like, no, I can sing it if you want. They're like, I can sing it. Like,
and so now we've had to start having a little bit of a backbone and saying, maybe we'll get to it, maybe we don't, kind of thing.
That's usually
or straight up we don't know.
We just don't know.
We know it. We don't know it, so we can't do it.
Well, to give others a little bit of a taste of what it's like to attend one of your Instagram lives, I pulled up a little small snippet from your most recent one. Hold on. Oh, don't play just yet. Oh my goodness. Because you can hear it, but you couldn't see it, so that's not helpful. Here we go. And of course, it didn't save where I had it, so I hope I can find it. I truly don't know. Oh, I think it's right in here. Oh, it was right before this.
Silence? I don't believe. Sure, we've done that. Sure, we've done that before. Try that. We can try it. Another one we haven't really done. We probably should do it more. Hi, Emily. Welcome, Emily. Welcome in. All right. For those of you just joining us, welcome in. All right. Here we go. This is another request. I think people expect that we do Simon and Garfunkel more. Because a lot of our songs are in that style. But we've never really done these songs live. Alright, you ready? Alright, I don't really know where to go with it, so we'll see. We're singing songs to make people. Well, I mean, we're gonna have to work it out. Live. But what's the harmony? Hello, down your smile, old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
And I'm going to stop it right there because I think the thing that I love about that clip is simply like, I don't know where this is going to go, breaks into perfect harmony for Hello,
it's like, well, that's one of the things that led us into the music aspect of things really quickly because we sort of did find out that just because like, and like sometimes just because we're twin, like we're not like exactly alike, kind of like perfect clone twins like some people are. But a lot of times we'll be talking or we'll both say the same thing at the same time just because that's how our brains work. Like we're very similar. Like we grew up very similarly. And so one of the things we discovered that pushed us into music very quickly was that kind of is something that comes very naturally to us. I think maybe because we listen to all the same music and that's all we know. And we just have a very quick sense to like, especially with harmonies, we can just kind of make it up on the spot.
And some of like the greatest moments musically that we've like the most fun, I should say, are like the times when like someone was like, oh, like request something, or we are like, hey, let's try this one.
We've never played this song.
Right.
Let's do this one.
And we try it. Sometimes it just like magically happens. Like
Well, a lot of times it flops.
Sometimes
it
a lot of times. I don't know if it ever.
I would say
flops.
sometimes it flops. Sometimes it's fine. I mean, it's fine.
Sometimes you do,
and
then
then
song
sometimes
like,
it's like,
oh,
whoa.
I remember the chorus of that, and then you find out that there's a bridge that you never heard, and you're like, well,
yeah,
I don't know.
You get to that point, and you're like, whoa,
right. So sometimes it's a disaster.
Usually, I've learned now that if I see it coming up and I try to think of it while I'm playing, I'll think of it in my head, and if I can't remember it, I'll just the chord before it, I'll go, but the end. All right,
you're like, oh, that's it.
Good. Right.
And
but that's the fun. That's one of the most fun things about the Instagram lives is just like getting to just kind of mess around, because when you're doing like live music at a restaurant or a club or something, you don't really have the liberty to like crash and burn if you want to. But like that's people like that's what you're getting a little bit when you're in the Instagram shows that you nowhere else is like a behind the scenes of like kind of how the sausage gets made, if that makes sense. Like sometimes, and a lot of times we'll just do stuff that we like doing and whatever, but sometimes we're just like trying stuff and just seeing what happens, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, some shows will just be in that mood for the whole time,
and some shows
we'll never want to do something that we've played before or that we've even practiced before at all.
Especially if we've done like a couple of gigs over the course of the week.
Yeah, sometimes we're just getting into a mood of just like let's just freestyle it and just be creative about it.
It's a lot of fun.
But
it kind of gets into your improv training a little bit too.
A little bit, yeah.
Where it's like, well, let's see. This will probably crash and burn, but
yeah, exactly.
Let's do it. Let's try it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, going on a completely like sideways tangent here, Matt, you've gotten into streaming recently.
Yes.
How long have you been on Twitch?
My streamiversary my first stream was on Christmas Day last year. So I've almost been on Twitch for one whole year, 5 days from now.
That's crazy. What got you into streaming?
I think Emily and Aaron.
I think
and our
Aaron
friend
started
Patrick,
first.
Right.
I think Emily followed, right?
Well, really,
Emily's
Patrick, our friend Patrick.
Emily, can you corroborate?
Our friend Boston Brewers streamed. He was one of our best friends for years and years now. We played games with him, and he started streaming. And then Aaron wanted to start streaming. Our friend Aaron Damers, and so she did. Mm-hmm. We kind of helped her with the knowledge from Patrick. Mm-hmm. We helped her with that.
And Emily got into it.
And then Emily got into that. And then now a bunch of now we've met like most of our best friends.
Well, then I always was like, I don't want to. And people were like, yeah, you should. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, and then during the pandemic, we got the PCs and stuff and got like a setup because we only ever like played PlayStation and stuff. But then when we got the PCs, I was like, yeah, I'll try it. Why not? And it's like, it's just been one of the loveliest, like, some of like the nicest people. It's just so fun to like sit and play. I always say like I would be sitting and playing games anyway, so why not like do it with like a bunch of friends around, like that kind of thing.
Well, and
so
also
cool.
you've had this you've created this nice little community and like getting to play like go-tos like Animal Crossing and like Stardew Valley. Do you have any other go-tos that you like to stream?
Playing Hi Beef, welcome
in, Beef.
Speaking
of someone that we met on Twitch,
right,
who's fantastic,
right. But there are a bunch of games. I definitely want to get more into Pokemon games because I loved playing Pokemon growing up. Beef's a tremendous Pokemon streamer.
Pokemon,
so it's funny that Beef's here, but
do you have the new Diamond or Pearl?
No, not yet.
Oh.
So I gotta
I
get my
have
hands
Brilliant
on it.
Diamond, and it's really fun.
Is
So
it fun?
when you get the chance,
We love Diamond and Pearl. John was a Diamond
Oh,
guy. I'm a
same.
big Pearl guy.
what
Big
was
Pearl
your
guy.
what was your starters?
I always go water. I always go with the
I
water
do too.
Pokemon. I'm such a softie for the
Can't
water
remember.
water type. You usually do fire type.
Mainly a fire guy.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. John,
Can't
I
remember.
know that I've seen you in chats here and there, but I might have missed it. Have you been streaming at all? Will you
John was the first one. I think John was the
I was the
first,
first
one
one
of
of
us to
us.
stream.
Mm.
I was
And,
the first
well,
one
what
of
had
us.
happened was John was streaming the game Rocket League, which is like car soccer.
Well,
basically.
yeah.
And it was great.
My
And-
streams were very high intensity.
Well, that game was very high
And
intensity.
that game was very
And
intense.
that's what I started out streaming. I started out streaming Rocket League, and I was like, A, I'm not so good at this game, and B, it's just like makes me like upset. Like I finished my stream and
Yeah.
was sad about it.
And I mean,
And I was like, I need to stream a game that I like, and that's when I started streaming like Animal Crossing and stuff. And
Just
I was
something
like,
that's
this is
can't be
so much
stressful,
fun,
yeah.
right? Like it was just so
And-
relaxing.
but so I streamed a lot, but it was just very high intensity, and it was like once we started doing like real in person like shows and things, like I just needed to conserve energy. I mean, so it was I kind of stopped, but then recently I did a stream.
Yeah, he's gonna be streaming again because I told him he asked to. Because it's a lot of fun. A John stream is high energy.
Yeah.
As you can imagine.
So I'm starting doing it again, but I already did my inaugural stream a
good.
week ago or so.
That's exciting.
But yeah, so I'm gonna be online.
Nice.
Fivera, please. No more.
Oh my
Spam.
God.
Spam, all right?
Fiverr's is agreeing. They are not high intensity.
That's one of my emotes, the peach
Hey,
emote.
there you go. There you go. And we're getting into that hour mark. So this has already showed you like how long we've been on here, but I'm going to go through a quick few more questions because you got a big event coming up. You guys are doing Boys from Syracuse at 54 Below. For anyone unfamiliar, Boys from Syracuse is the George Abbott musical adaptation of Shakespeare's Comedy of Errors, aka Twin Hijinks Ensue.
Right.
How did this project come about? It's so fun. It's so exciting.
We were a friend of ours he's actually a Wagner alumni, and he's a theater journalist / like kind of like Broadway reviewer, and he, you know, over the years, he was actually the first person to invite us to Cast Party at Berkeley.
Yeah.
And we went with him.
Yeah.
Because he was like, you guys should be doing this. Like, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
You'd be great for it. So we, you know, been friends with him for a long time now. And he was saying he's always had this idea of wanting us to do that show because, you know, it's a twin show and they're kind of like two like princely kind of guys.
Yeah. And he was talking to the people who book at 54 Below, and they were kind of like, we have this, you know, and 54 Below is booked out for like 3 years now. It's like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Because now that everybody's back, everybody wants to do a show. So he was like talking with them, and they were like, we have this date that's kind of soon, you know, if you want to do it, you know, and so he reached out to us and was like, do you guys want to do this? And we were like, why not? So
yeah, it perfectly fell into place in a way.
Yeah.
How have rehearsals have been going? How are they? It's coming up soon, so I'm assuming
it's coming up. The rehearsals have been amazing.
The cast is like so great.
Incredible.
It's insane.
Incredible people in the cast.
Like we didn't even know there were going to be such
Broadway
incredible people in the
alumni.
cast when we signed on.
Right.
And so it was really.
It's like so. That's like the coolest thing about doing anything. Like the people that we've been like so lucky to work with have just been like, we've gotten to work with so many incredible people just by like one thing kind of leads to the next.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what this business, especially like in the cabaret world, but even in the theater world in general, like, you know, you do one thing and someone sees you in that, or someone who knows the person who you know, directed that, you know, like it just one thing kind of always leads to the next thing. And like, it's amazing how many like just incredible people. And this show is no different. There's so many incredible people in it.
And for those who are in and around the city who might be able to make it, all that good stuff, it's at 54 Below. And I wrote it down because I knew I'd forget. December 29th at 9:45 p.m. How can people get tickets? And is there anything else they should know?
You can go on the 54 Below website and get tickets. You can use code Syracuse5 for
All one
$5
word.
off.
Hey, there you
Syracuse
go.
and then the number 5 with no space.
Yeah,
Love that.
but it's
And it's a nice short version too, isn't it?
It's like 1 hour long.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Because I was worried about people were going to be like, oh, it starts at 9:45. Not a chance. Only 1 hour. You'll be out
It's
of there
very
by
condensed,
10:45.
and it's all the best parts of the show. And the show's actually really good. People don't
music
really
is
know the music
The
on the
music
show
is
that well,
stunning.
Yeah.
but it's really good and it's funny.
And then I have one other Instagram question for you. Might be one of the most difficult questions you'll answer tonight. From a good friend, Liam Abate. Do you guys have the same favorite color or different favorite colors?
I feel like this is a twin thing. I can't possibly imagine a set of twins having the same favorite color. Maybe it exists. I don't think I've ever heard
I
of
feel
it.
like that would be. I don't want to put. I think we can say, because we are twins and we can have this opinion. I think if anyone else said this, it would be across the line. But
Right.
I think that it would be absolutely.
We live on that side.
I think it would be absolutely psychotic,
right.
if a set of twins.
If you
had
know
the
a set
exact
of
same
twins
favorite
that has
color.
the same favorite
Let us
color,
know, because I want to talk
get
to them.
out now.
Get away.
Get away from them. But no, we always had. I mean, it's always been like the
Although that's not true, because our favorite colors have drifted towards each other. I think.
What's your favorite?
Because
color?
I was
my
gonna say,
favorite
on that
color
note,
is
what's your
green,
favorite
officially.
colors? Like,
Well, our colors.
My favorite
traditionally-
are green.
John's a green guy. I'm a red guy.
But then I've sort of shifted towards blue, but I still like green.
I've
But
shifted
then
toward
Matthew's
blue.
shifting towards blue as well, so we're kind
So
of
run, like I said, psychotic.
we're
Get
starting
out of
to
here
get
now,
really
Laura.
bad.
no, but that kind of like, not to be like, oh, like it makes sense, but like you guys have your shared things that you work on, and you have your separate things that you work on. It's
I
all
think
a
it kills
metaphor.
it. Yeah, it becomes a thing. Well, I think like at the root of it, it starts as like, oh, Matthew's the one that always wears red, and John's the one that always wears green, kind of thing. But then it's like it just becomes like your reality, like, and it's partially it's like wanting to have your own thing, you know.
Absolutely, having
So
one
it's
something to like.
a great
hold
question.
you-
What a great question from
Oh,
Liam
yeah,
is
no.
a genius.
No,
I mean,
Liam-
Liam is.
Liam faithfully comes onto the Instagram every week and submits a question. He's such what a king. What a king.
What a kid.
What an
Liam is
absolute
Thanks
the
for coming
king.
in. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we're to the part of the show now where can we find you guys on social media?
You can find us on our Instagram at the Drinkwater Brothers. Our YouTube page, the Drinkwater Brothers. On
Everything
YouTube.
is the Drinkwater Brothers. So wherever
Yeah.
you want to find music
Yeah.
or videos or whatever,
Instagram,
Drinkwater
Facebook,
Brothers.
Twitter, all the YouTube,
And how about-
Spotify, yeah.
How about Twitch?
Twitch at Matthew Drink H2O.
He just did a rebranding.
just did a rebrand.
Rebrand.
I used to be CB Killer Whales, but then I decided no, it's time. It's time to go with the
Time.
name.
And I am Captain Bruisin.
CPT Bruising.
CPT Bruisin.
At CPT
Hey, there we
Bruising.
go.
People
Amazing.
don't realize that's the line from The Office.
Oh.
People just think Captain Bruisin.
I'm your cruise director, Captain Bruising.
and
No,
cruising-
you're cruising for bruising,
bruising,
and I'm your cruise director, Captain Bruising.
I
Yeah.
should know that. Oh my gosh. That makes so much sense now. I was like, I don't know where this comes from. Well, I'm like, that makes sense now. That makes sense. But yeah, so you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Lora_Marjoram.
Go find Laura, and
Find
if you
Laura
haven't,
wherever
if
you
you're
can.
here
If you
right
haven't
now and
followed-
you haven't followed the channel, hit the follow button, please.
Quick little shout out from Emily though that John just got Animal Crossing today. So
I did. I was gifted it by the maniacs Emily and Matthew
so
for Christmas.
who knows? Gotta go find him. Gotta go find him on Twitch.
Find me quick before I really take off.
Exactly. You can also find me at my website www.loramarjoram.com. You
And it's
can
a beautiful
find.
site.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I did it myself, quite literally.
Wow.
You can find this show on Instagram at Overtures Show. There's 2 S's. It looks strange, but it's legit. I promise.
It's
And
legit.
then on YouTube, search Overtures Show. This episode will go live there. All that good stuff. My next stream is gonna be in 2022. It'll be in the new year.
Wow, this is the last.
Yeah, you guys are the last ones of the new year. Exactly.
The last stream of the year.
I'm
Laura.
already. Yes.
Let me cut you for 1 second.
Okay. Yeah. No. Go for it.
You are such a lovely host. This is such a wonderful show. You're so good at this. Here's something you've been talking about us. One thing about Lora that's just the most admirable thing that a person can possibly have, and we talked a little bit about it,
Thank you.
is like creating, like having the gumption to just do something and to create your own thing and to have
And
an
this
idea.
is how Lora has
do it.
always been.
Right.
This is why we involve Lora when we can in everything that we possibly can,
Right.
because Lora is top notch. Lora is, and also, if we're talking about Lora, let's really talk about Lora. Lora is an actress of unbelievable degree. I mean, she went to
You guys are too
Villanova
sweet.
to be told,
to be
said
for
all
extra.
these nice things about what we do by Laura is like
It's
a
a
tremendous
shocker.
honor.
It's a
So
stunning moment for
and
us.
I feel like we weren't able to express that earlier because I was
Lora
trying to
is,
keep it
if you
together.
go to the store, you're now find Lora
No, you don't-
out on the shelf.
You don't find
You have
her
to get
bottled up.
the kid to unlock the cabinet for you.
Right.
And then they have to take Lora and they
It's like
have to
this-
use the little thing and take her out of her big
unclip
case
the thing, right.
and scan it so that it doesn't beep on the way out.
Oh
Laura's
my
the top notch of what you can be, the pinnacle.
And that's a fact. And put that on your website.
You two
But
crack
don't say
me
who
up.
said it. Don't say who said it.
Oh my gosh, you guys are too sweet. Thank you. I appreciate
You are
that.
too sweet to have us on the show. It really is. It's been so much fun. Just
Oh, absolutely.
chatting.
This has been such a blast. I'm
Mhm.
already lining up some guests for the new year. I
Beautiful.
might continue to be here on Twitch, might be playing with streaming straight to YouTube to streamline the process. I still want to have that chat enabled. We'll figure it all out, all that good stuff. But follow Overtures show to keep updated, to put your opinion in, all that good stuff. All that will be found on the new year in on my Instagram. But yeah, Matt, John, any final thoughts for viewers live in the future?
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you for
Beef
being
get
here.
clapped. Get clapped by Nightbot.
Laura's Nightbot.
I don't know
is
why
so
my
good.
Nightbot's being like such
whenever you Nightbot always starts
Nightbot starts so
starts
strict.
so mad.
for
And
those who
Nightbot's just
don't-
ready to dunk.
My first stream,
Everybody.
in my first stream, I got rated by like 30 people. It was crazy. It was insane. Everybody's writing things like, hey, raid, they're putting emotes. All of them getting clapped. Every single one. And then they all like left. And I was like, why would the creators of Nightbot want this to be the default for Nightbot?
No, that makes sense. Thank you. And Beef was also explaining in the chat. For those who are watching in the future and are confused as to what the heck's going on, Beef is putting some emotes in the chat, having a grand old time. We love the hype.
Right.
And my Nightbot, which is like the automatic moderator,
Nightbot's
being
trying
like,
to protect
no.
you. Nightbot's trying to protect you. Okay.
It's trying so
But
hard,
it's
and I
trying to-
I
appreciate
agree with the sentiment of protect Laura.
Right.
I agree with that. But, you know, at a certain degree, Nightbot, you know, take a chill pill.
Right.
Yeah, you just
Be a little hip,
it'll
Nightbot.
be okay.
Nightbot
Oh my
needs to
gosh,
take an
this has
edible
been
and go
so
over it.
this has been so much fun, and it's flown by so quickly.
Oh man, it's so.
Thank you
fast.
so much, and thank you for everyone who got to hang out today. But yeah, we're gonna end the stream here. Thank you guys so much.
Woo!
Bye,
Goodbye,
everyone.
Laura.